It started in 2018, kind of as a joke after a very long acid trip. I'm pretty sure with like myself and some homies of ours. We were just like, man, like what would happen if like we had our own music festival? And I think like one of us was like, oh my gosh, like it would be so greasy. And then it was just like one of us was like Grease Fest. My name is Paris Pick, and I'm here in Whitehorse, Yukon, and you're listening to episode 98 of the Sit Down Podcast.
These episodes of the Sit Down Podcast are brought to you by Funky Moose Records. It is an online record store. We sell new and used records. We also sell the cleaning supplies, the sleeves, and we have merch on our website for bands and artists.
That's right. So go to funkymoose.com. No.
Or do funkymooserecords.ca.
That might be better. And just go snoop around in there, you guys. Check it out.
So, yeah.
Right on. So,
hi.
Welcome back.
Hello.
So good to see you. Last time we had you on, it was just audio.
It's just on the phone, yeah.
And was it like your first episode or like?
Yep.
Well, I believe it was the first episode we had
with a guest.
With a guest.
Yeah.
Wow.
You like I said, you are the godmother of this show. We would not, all honesty, we wouldn't be where we are with this show if it hadn't been for you. All the credit goes to you, like hands down. I applaud you. Like I really do.
Yeah.
Too much credit.
I don't think so. I think it's well deserved, and I don't think we talk about it enough. I try to every now and again, but like I don't know if anybody really picks up on it.
It's every time somebody asks about, how we started and whatever, we usually mention you like, well, there's a girl from Whitehorse that reached out to us and, hey, do you wanna can I be on your show? And then Joelle and I go like, sure. And then we have to figure everything out. So that's usually, we do mention you in every time we get asked. So
yeah.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
Yeah. So yeah, the last time I think you and I had chat. Well, okay, let me take a step back here. Maybe
back it up. Well,
I'll back it up a bit. I feel like the last time we like communicated a little bit was me just asking you if I could share your video on our community page. I think that was it. And then maybe a quick little blast. There was something. Wait, okay. I'm excited. I'm excited to have you back on the show. I really am. There was something that happened. This is where I want to pick up from, where you were going to be playing a show. I think it was like in a school gym, but then there was like a bomb threat or something that happened.
Yeah, there was a show at the local Yukon Arts Center. So it was at the Arts Center, and there was a bomb threat called that night. Yeah, it was really weird.
No doubt. Was that pre-COVID?
No, I think it was during COVID because there was still like restrictions as to how many people could be there and stuff.
Right.
So how was that called? Like you're there and then guys, everybody don't panic, but apparently there's a bomb here.
Yeah. No, it was really weird because I hadn't even gone on stage yet, and the opening act was a comedian, and the comedian was like right in the middle of her joke, and it's like she was like on the edge of the punchline, and then the lights come on, and I'm like, is this part of the show? Like, is this leading into like the end of the joke or something? And then the head programmer of the facility comes out with a microphone and is like, I'm sorry, everyone, but there's an emergency and we have to get everyone to leave. She didn't mention the word bomb. I think that would trigger too much. So all of a sudden it was like, oh shit. And like literally my band was in the wings, like ready to go on stage. Like the minute that joke was done, it was like we were going to do our thing. It was super weird. And then the show got rescheduled and unfortunately didn't have as good as an attendance as it would have been if it just happened that night.
Right.
Just with COVID and stuff. So such a weird show for sure.
No doubt. One to remember.
Yeah. The show that never really happened.
The show that never happened.
Yeah.
But you've been pretty busy, like in the last, I want to say it hasn't been 2 years, but it sure feels like it's been 2 years since we had you on, because we're coming up on 2 years of the show.
Yeah.
But you're pretty consecutively busy, are you not?
Yeah, I've been pretty busy since I guess in 2019 or 2020 is when I was working on my latest record, Hope for the Best. And then when I was talking to you guys last, I can't remember if I had already released it or was working towards releasing it. But I was busy with that for sure. And then since that album came out in June, I've just been like writing songs and trying to get my shit together for my third record.
Holy smokes.
Nice.
Right on.
Yeah.
And do you play in other bands as well, or is it just like your band?
Yeah, right now I actually only play in one other band, but it's with my partner and we're called Swamp Sex Robots. And it's
Nice.
a super silly rock trio. I always wanted to have a project that was an outlet where I can just give her balls. As Paris pick, I'm usually a little more, what's the word, like
Reserved?
well, reserved, and like it's like a bit of like an emotional release. Like it's, I don't know, more sensitive and more like genuine to like how I'm feeling, which is great and everything. But then I always wanted a band where I could just do like anything and like maybe just like play a character and have like a weird persona that just like doesn't give a shit and rocks out.
Hell yeah. So what's the persona in that band?
Doesn't really have, but like it's just like an 80s sex icon.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Like we kind of have it laid out so that each person in the band is like a part of the title of the band name. So like I'm the sex, Aiden is the swamp, and our drummer is the robot.
Okay.
And
how would he be the swamp?
because he's greasy and he works at the dump, so he's a pretty dirty boy. So we could just kind of thought it was appropriate for him to be the swamp.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Freaking rights. So the last single you released, well, I guess with the last music video was I Can't Help It, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Love that video. It's pretty sexy, if I'm being honest. I like
Thank
it.
you. Yay.
We were actually just watching. Well, Joel was watching it mostly.
I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, I've watched it, and he was like, "Did you see the video for this one?" And I'd recognize the song, but I had to look, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that one. I remember that one."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, it's sexy."
Yeah, it is sexy. I like it.
That was that was the goal. I was like, you know, like I don't know, like I feel like sometimes in Whitehorse, like lots of artists kind of like play it safe, and like I don't know, like when you are watching like music videos come out of like Toronto or any other major city, like people aren't scared to like show a little bit of skin. Not that I'm using skin as a selling point, but like also it's just like it's allowed. Like you can capture women and their beauty and it can be sexy and not weird. Like people are allowed to be hot.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
exactly, right? Like I didn't think there was anything that wasn't tasteful in it. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't raunchy or anything.
I was trying to go for cheeky rather than sexy, you know, like it's just like it's sensual, it's cheeky, and it's cute and it's fun. And like I think we captured all that.
Hell yeah, for sure. So who did the production of that video?
So my friend Daniel Little produced the video and directed it. I guess I was the producer technically, but he directed it. I had the idea and then I kind of like told him about it. I remember we like went for a drive near the Clay Cliffs here in town, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna like show you this single that I want to do this video for, and I'm not gonna tell you what my vision is, but I let him like listen to the song all the way through, and then I put it on again and was like, now that you've heard it once and you have your brain racing with whatever that means to you, I'm going to play you, or I'm going to like verbally narrate what I'm seeing in my head as we listen to it for a second time. And then I was like, think like Pink, Pillow Fight, Slumber Party, the movie Grease, like that scene with the slumber party. And he was like, holy shit, like, yes, yes, yes. And then he just like took, you know, the ideas that I gave him, and then he just ran with it. And he hired, like, we sat down and hired a crew, and it just came together super awesome. Our friend Douglas Joe is the one who shot it. And then my friend Brett is the one who edited it.
Cool.
Nice. And then, so the picture of the guy that gets stuck on the mirror, is that your partner?
Yeah, that's Aiden.
Aiden. Okay, right.
Yeah. Also known as Garbage Man, and he is Milkman in Swamp Sex Robots. So he has many roles.
Frickin' rights. That was awesome.
Nice.
I love it. So yes, applause to you. That it's a really well done video, for sure, for sure.
Well,
so
I don't know if you saw, but like Ed the Sock shared it, and I was like, what?
I definitely did. I was gonna get into that a little bit later, but yeah, for sure. You know, I've reached out to Ed before too, and we were like DMing each other through Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was, the conversation got so far as where I asked him if he would come on our show.
Wow.
And I'm gonna call him out and he agreed to. And as soon as I threw him out some dates to come on, like boom, that was it. It was like a puff of smoke. I haven't heard back from him since. I've tried a few more times to like interact with them, and nothing.
Are you gonna show the screenshot here?
Yeah, here's a picture of Ed the Sock right here, you guys. Here's the culprit. I'm looking for you, Ed. I need an answer on those dates to come on.
Aren't those dates passed by now?
Those dates are passed now, so I got to give him some new ones.
Yeah.
The sock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you dirty sock. Hey guys, Muse Canada is a new arts and entertainment media connection and support network. Skip all the algorithms of social media and connect with other entertainment professionals across Canada. Sign up today for $5 a month.
Or you use promo code FunkyMoose2021 for 10% off. Hey, so hang on. You also did a video with a pizza delivery, something or other.
Yeah.
Which song was that?
That was Hope for the Best, which was the title track of the album. And it was the first song I released. And yeah, I did that video too. Was pretty stoked that I did 2 like bigger production music videos in 1 year. It was an expensive year, but I say it was worth it. For sure.
They are awesome videos. Is it do you get grants to do that, or are you paying that out of pocket?
So far I have not had any grants.
Because you didn't apply, or you didn't get them?
Because in Whitehorse we don't really have funding for music videos yet.
Right.
That's something they're working on. As far as I know, anyways, there was no money for such things. So I know there's money elsewhere in Canada, but honestly, sometimes the amount of hoops places get you to jump through for like $3,000, I'd rather just pay the money myself.
Yeah, we totally know what you're talking about too. We just started, so we ended up turning Moose Fest into a nonprofit charitable organization. Yeah, and there's a lot of paperwork to do that, like lots. So I think we're about 3/4 of the way finalized for that, like so that it's official. We are a nonprofit. I'm just waiting for the paperwork on the charitable part of it, so I can basically give out tax receipts on donations, right? But yeah, even that, like, so we've already kind of like hinted and asked around for sponsorship for next year's Moose Fest, and just some replies that we've had, there's always been like a criteria, right? Like, oh well, we'll give you X amount of dollars, but you have to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, thank you. Like, you can keep your money. Whether you want to help us out or you don't. But like, we're not the monkeys here. Like, we're not, Moose Fest is ours, and we're going to do it the way we see fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you want to give us money, that's great.
Yeah.
And if not, that's fair. That's
it's
fine
totally fine if you do or don't. Like, you can either work with us or not. It's happening anyway.
Either way. Yeah.
Either way, it's going to happen. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So how are you ready for the holidays?
Trying to be. Me and my partner are supposed to be going to Mexico, and I guess everything in the world is kind of going back to crazy mode. So we'll see what happens. I might just get stuck in Mexico. I don't know.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that would suck.
That would be I'm pretty sure you'd be able to handle yourself out there though. The stories you were telling the last time you were on, like it's not like you're not used to looking out for yourself. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the main concern for me is like my band is scheduled to play at Big Winter Classic in Calgary and Breakout West in Winnipeg. And that's when I come back. So I'm just worried that like Canada is going to like change its rules, or one of the provinces that I'm supposed to get to is going to say, hey, you need to quarantine for 2 weeks before you come here. But I think if that happens, like I won't be the only artist that can't attend these festivals. That's like every other artist that would have to quarantine, like would get canceled. So
Right.
we'll just cross our fingers and hope that it all works out the way it was supposed to.
No doubt. When is Breakout West in Winnipeg?
That's February 2nd to 6th.
All right. I might
Yeah.
have to make a trip out to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what it is about that city. I love Winnipeg.
And
I always have. I don't know why.
And I keep saying it's just a big Prince house.
That could be what it is though. It could just remind me of home so much.
Crazy. Yeah, I've only been there once, but when I did go, I really liked it. Like people kept telling me it was stabby, and I was like, I mean, every city can be a little stabby.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've met so many awesome people out in Winnipeg. I think you're gonna have a blast there, being able to play there.
I'm stoked, and I'm also really excited for going back to Calgary. Like I haven't really played much outside of Whitehorse. I guess since we last talked, after I released my album in June, we did a promotional tour down to BC in like September or October. And that was with Garbage Man and his band. And it's such a weird time to travel right now. Like even in September, it was weird and it was super hard to book a tour. Like I've never had that much difficulty booking a tour. Like it's just like places are so timid.
Yeah. Well, so exactly. We went to Winnipeg. I think it was the second or third week in August.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when it was.
Yeah.
But we have our vaccinations and everything. And on our way to Winnipeg, we were like, oh, we should like find our proof of vaccination just in case. Like the week we went there was a week after Manitoba had lifted
all the restrictions,
right? So it had been a week of them like opened back up. Anyways, we're about halfway to Winnipeg, and we're like, you know what, we should figure this all out and get it just in case. You never know. And when we got to the hotel, if we didn't have our proof of vax, like they weren't gonna let us in, and we still had to mask in there and everything. We were just like, holy crap!
But that at that point in Saskatchewan was already gone.
Yeah, we had been open for like 6 weeks or something at that time.
And technically in Winnipeg, that would have been the same as in Saskatchewan for a week by then. But I mean, everybody still had, you know, their what do you call them? They're not restrictions, but their precautions in place.
Yeah.
So, and now I was actually talking to a customer today, and he said that Manitoba is complete opposite right now. People walking around without masks, indoors, in public places. People don't want to get vaccinated. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how is it out in Whitehorse, like restriction wise or precautions? Like what are the rules out there?
Since we have a smaller population, our government tends to play pretty safe with things. So like we were open for a while there. Like I think when we went down to BC, everything was open here. So like what you were just saying, like I was a little bit tripped out because here in Yukon, we had like dancing with no masks. Like we had like full normal for like 30 seconds. And we had like Halloween was like the last event that we had where everything was like full send. You were allowed to dance and whatever. And then I went down to BC, and it was just like weird. Like it was like I remember having a show on the day that the passports were made mandatory. So like it was in Courtney, and I remember just like weird vibes in the bar that we were playing, just because people, you know, were uncomfortable with sharing that information. But for the most part, everyone was okay with it. But definitely met lots of interesting characters on that tour, and just like could feel the opinions everywhere. I was like, oh
Right.
my
Yeah.
God, crazy. But you know, we don't mind wearing our masks and stuff. Like once we realized that that's what everyone in BC was doing, like we just joined along.
Well,
But
yeah.
then after Halloween in Whitehorse, our numbers went back up. I think like the Epic Dance Party, actually like Swamp Sex Robots played Halloween night with our friends Major Funk, and I think like our event was like the super spreader event. But
Whoops.
also it was allowed. Like the government, like we were
Yeah.
allowed dance. Everything was legal. I don't
Yeah.
even know why the
Yep.
government allowed it, but they sure as heck did. But then it was
Right.
like literally a few weeks after Halloween here that everything started going up again. And then right now we're in a state of emergency. So we're back to masks. And if we do have shows, it's like half capacity seated, which sucks.
Right.
But yeah.
Yep.
Right. Is there like do you have like plexiglass in front of you on the stage or any kind of anything like that?
No, like we have one big venue. Well, we have a few big venues in town, and like for the most part, like audience is definitely like 6 feet away from the stage already. So it's
Yep.
like they don't bother with the plexiglass thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how it is here too. And like if you're at your table, you don't have to be wearing a mask, like if you have a drink with you. But if you get up to like go to the bathroom or you get up on the dance floor, you need to put your mask on. It's
Yep.
basically, in a nutshell, that's kind of how the rules are out here. But
Yeah.
Venues are open. We've been hitting up concerts left and right for sure.
I mean, I'm just kind of, yeah, that's why I'm hoping that these two festivals don't get postponed or canceled. Cause like really, I think like there's like, it seems like there's a new variant every month or every few months. And like, we just need
Yeah.
we just need to learn how to live with this. We can't just like not live like.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's only going to get better, I think. Like if you think of the flu or the common cold, every year there's a new variant of that.
Yeah.
There really is. That's why you get your flu shot and your whatever. You get that vaccination. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because every year there's a new variant of that. So I think that's just going to dwindle itself down to that criteria or whatever.
I don't know. It depends on how the media handles it, I think. Like,
yeah.
Well, I don't trust the media at all.
No.
Would you say we're media? I don't think anyone's
Yeah.
coming to us for freaking any information on COVID.
Please
Like,
don't call us media.
Yeah.
We're just two guys making
we're just
YouTube
hanging
videos.
out
Yeah.
with the godmother.
Yeah.
Moosing around. I want to play Moose Fest.
Oh,
I want you to as well.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to
Okay.
figure that out. When is your guys' festival?
We currently have it scheduled for August 6th this summer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I
Cool.
just realized today that as of the new year, like because I produce my own music festival called Grease Fest, which I don't know
sweet.
I don't know if I ever told you guys about Grease Fest, but I guess as of the new year it'll be 5 years. So we'll be hosting our 5th annual Grease Fest.
Oh, hell yeah. We do need to talk about
Yeah.
that.
While we're talking about that, can you tell us a little bit about how
that started?
Yeah.
Yeah. It started in 2018, kind of as a joke after a very long acid trip. I'm pretty sure with like myself and some homies of ours. We were just like, man, like what would happen if like we had our own music festival? And I think like one of us was like, oh my gosh, like it would be so greasy. And then it was just like one of us was like Grease Fest. And it's, you know, because we all work in like weird, like, you know, there's Aiden who works at the dump, and our friend Zach, who was part of the original posse who put together Grease Fest, he was working at like a recycling depot. So like for the majority of the OG Grease Fest founders, we were pretty greasy. And I think we also just like the idea of like having I don't know, a festival that was kind of like not as pretentious or something, like just like let's just throw down in like our living room. And then like that was our first Grease Fest ever, was like 3 bands on 420 in our living room. And it was just on off. And then all of a sudden the year after that, it was like, let's set up 3 stages, but like not just our living room, like around our house and in our yard. And then ever since then, it's taken place in our house, in our yard.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
And this year, we like were able to host it like right as we had that like window of normal where there was dancing and everything was awesome and no masks. And we had like 250 people show up, which was the most people we've seen at Grease Fest, and it was just crazy. And like
In your
27,
house.
yeah, in my house. Like I've never seen my living room so full. It was so crazy.
That's kick ass.
Wow.
This episode of the Sit Down Podcast is sponsored by Inspired Vapor Company. Those guys are out there. They're out there to help you quit smoking and transition into vaping. We all know that cigarettes are bad for you. So go to their website, inspiredvaporcompany.com, and if there's anything there that you guys like, use promo code MOOSE10 for 10% off. I was reading that article that you posted today too about like tips on how to, that thing you shared on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Do you even know what you shared, or was
No.
that automated? It might have been an automated post, but it was something about like how not to worry if you can't get people out to your shows, and like little tips and tricks on how to get the crowds bigger,
Okay.
kind of thing.
I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Now.
And one of the things in there, I actually read it. One of the things in there was how like to just, you can just put your own show on.
Yeah.
Like,
No, exactly. I
yeah.
think one of my favorite things about COVID, it's been 2 years of this pandemic, and it's like, I feel like if anything, it's made people get creative. It's like, oh, there's no shows happening at the bar. It's like, okay, well, why not host something not at the bar? Like do it in your living room. And I mean, when the pandemic first started, we were having like 10-person parties, like whatever the pod was that the government said at the time. Like I remember one year it was like, don't have more than 30 people in your house. And so we just had like a 25-person Halloween party with like DJs downstairs and like this awesome house downtown, and it was awesome. And like I saw this visual artist today. Her name's Nicole. She lives here in town, and she has set up like a public gallery outside of her house in the trees. She like hangs artwork that she's working on. And it's like, because right now every gallery in town, it's mandatory to have your vaccine proof. And she's like, maybe like there should be some art that's like accessible to like people that don't have their vaccines, and maybe also just like accessible in the way that you can just be outside and like walk by. And it's like very casual.
I think, you know what?
I
love that kind of stuff.
I like it.
It's genius. It's freaking genius. That's a lot. Have you heard of you might not have, but the curbside concerts? Have you heard of this thing?
I have actually. I talked with them for a while because I was like, I thought maybe Whitehorse should get involved and like have a version of that. I think my friend Gordy Tentrees called me and told me about it and said he just had a long phone call with the guy from Curbside Concerts. And I think Gordy did a few, but when it came down to like finding an actual host for Whitehorse, like we were all just too busy to like play host.
Take it on.
So but I think it's an awesome initiative, and I saw like so many awesome artists across Canada like get gigs out of that, and I loved how it like would get people out into their like lawn chairs, and like people playing their vans and stuff is just so awesome.
Hell yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like, how can we overcome this, and then to just have that idea like your friend Nicole, and then following through with it and having it work.
And then same with curbside.
Like how can we get this out there, and then it's working, and hell yeah. Stuff like that I don't think is going to go away. Like even with your friend Nicole, like I think that's just a genius idea, and there's no reason to stop doing that. Like what would, unless shit gets stolen, I guess, but I'm sure it's monitored somehow. You know what I mean? You'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Frickin' rights. What was I saying before that though?
We were talking about Grease Fest.
Yeah, so that's how it started. You're going into the 5th. This will be the 5th year, or you had your 5th one?
It'll be 2022, I guess, will be the 5th one.
Do you have a date scheduled for that already?
Not yet. We used to be very strict about it happening like in April on 420, but
Right.
then it became very unrealistic as 420 kept, when it lands on a weekday, it's not as accessible. So then I was like, then we just started doing it randomly. Like we've had it like seriously a different time period this year I was going to try and do summer, but then summer we weren't doing so good in the Yukon. So that's why I had to postpone it like 5 times till dancing was allowed, which was like crazy in the fall, I guess. And I don't know what time I'll do it next year. Maybe I'll just wait until there's a window open and just go for it.
Mhm.
Right.
So how many bands do you have going through there?
Usually, like, I've tried to limit myself to 20, but usually it ends up being about 27 to 30 bands.
Holy
Jesus.
shit. So how many days does this last for?
Usually it's just one night. We've thought about making it 2 nights. Sometimes we do, like, there was a few years where we tried this thing called pre-Grease, which was like the night before we would just do like a small house concert or something like somewhere else, like see if someone wants to be like a co-host of pre-Grease, and then like it'd be like a concert there, and then the next day is like full-fledged at our house. But it's just too much work to have to like set up 2 days in 2 locations.
Right.
Especially I usually hire like most of the technicians in town because there's like 3 to 4 stages, so I need like all the techs I can get, and then it's like setting up all these bands, so it's just like crazy.
So how
Yeah,
long
so
how long are
one
the
day.
sets for each band?
Half an hour. So usually
Okay.
it's like this year we had to start like at noon. It was like noon till 6 in the morning, if not later.
Wow.
That is pretty slick.
It gets
And ours-
crazy, and usually after like 1 in the morning it's like DJs. So I don't know about you guys. Like, what time does yours end?
Ours ended, I think it was about 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time did it
1:30, yeah.
start? 7?
Yeah.
But we only had
had 3 bands.
Yeah, we had 3 bands, but we had like a little filler in between each band, right?
Oh, that sounds belittling.
Well, I don't know
Kit-
how to word it. So there
Kit is
was
not a little.
we had a band. I don't even remember how long the sets were. Were they an hour long set
Yeah.
each?
The first 2 had an hour, and then the headliner had
An hour
till
and a
whenever they're
half.
done,
Yeah.
and that was close to 2 hours.
Right.
Hey.
And then we had a musician, Kit from the band Old Souls, went up with his acoustic in between each band, and he would do what, like a 20-minute set,
Yeah, about
something like that in between.
Mhm.
So I guess you could say we had 5 bands, but on the bill there was only 3. Yeah, it
Right.
started at like 7. Last song was like at 1:30 or 2 a.m. and then we just basically shut the doors and partied till 6 in the morning. We had our own little Grease fest thereafter.
But that was also our first time, so we didn't want to bite off more than we can. But I mean, 2022
We've currently got 5
we have 5 bands locked in, and then
and we're gonna have a 6th one in January. We're co-hosting an event in January in Saskatoon called Clash at the Cap 2. We're co-hosting with Prehistoric Productions. Needless to say, it's essentially like a battle of the bands,
but
right?
we're not calling it a battle of the
Yeah,
bands.
it's called Clash at the Cap.
Nice.
It'll be at the Capitol, and we're gonna have 8 to 10 bands do 3 songs each. They're gonna do 2 originals and 1 cover song, and Prehistoric Productions are gonna like tell them which cover song to play. So they might not even know the cover song till like the night before or the day of. Like it's gonna be a spontaneous thing that we're gonna throw at them. And from those 8 to 10 bands, we'll narrow it down to 3. And the 3 finalists will come back the following Saturday and do like a half hour or 45-minute set each. And then the winner's going to get a whole bunch of shit. They're going to get a gig at next Moose Fest. They're going to get a video credit with Prehistoric Productions. They'll get a recording credit with Skull Creek Studios. They're going to get some digital marketing from Funky Moose Records and some photography, like just a whole like $10,000 worth of stuff. They're going to get thrown at them if they win.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's going to be fun as shit.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been exciting times. I still credit you to all of this. None of this would be like Moose Fest wouldn't have happened without the podcast, and the podcast wouldn't have happened without you. So it all comes full circle. You know what I mean? Like,
so we do need you on Moose Fest. If it's not this year, then next year.
You have a golden ticket to Moose Fest.
Yay.
100%. Any day, anytime.
Well, where are you guys in Saskatchewan again? Like which city?
We're in a town population 100.
So we're not in the city.
We're like in the middle of the boonies.
We're half an hour south of Prince Albert and about an hour north of Saskatoon.
But not directly. So we're like off the beaten path. That's why if you just went straight to it, we could probably hit Saskatoon in like 45 minutes and PA in 20. But there's like a lot of turns and shit to get there.
Right. Because I think I'm supposed to be playing at a festival in Prince Albert in this new year, I think, in, what's it called? Chesterfest?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Really?
I think so. So I don't know if that's anywhere near Moose Fest, but I'll be there.
I think there's a 2-week gap there between Chesterfest and Moose Fest.
I don't know the dates for next year, Chesterfest. But we've been there. We've been sponsoring their.
We've been sponsoring Chesterfest.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what my my booker told me, anyways. But hopefully, I didn't spoil the
the announcement.
Well, it's either Chesterfest or Ness Creek.
Definitely Chesterfest.
Okay.
Oh yes, that is awesome.
Okay.
So the guy who puts on Chesterfest,
Joel
Rose, is the guy who did our sound at Moose Fest, who's currently going to be doing our sound for the next Moose Fest.
He's our sound guy.
Awesome guy. Awesome freaking guy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't spent too much time like in Saskatchewan at all. So looking forward to coming back.
Oh hell yeah! I can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There was someone who I did a podcast with when I released my album in that same like month or two where I did mine with you. I can't remember the name of their show right now. I feel so bad. I want to say it's like Mojo or something. Either way, I did this podcast, but it was with video like we're doing now. And then recently when I was on tour, we were like in Vancouver on some random day and the host totally recognized me on the street and was like, "Hi, Paris." And I was like, what the? And he was like literally walking by me. Like I was in like train station mode. Like I had my like earbuds in and was just like doing my own thing. And he had his earbuds in and he was doing his own thing. But then he like noticed me and was like, "Paris, like you were on my show. I totally like recognized you." I was like, well, maybe we'll have a moment like that. I have a pretty distinctive look and voice, so
that's awesome. No, hell yeah. It's gonna happen for sure.
Yep.
Now we gotta reach out to Joel and pick him for information.
My phone is connected to my computer right now, else I would have been texting him now.
I could shoot him a text right now.
What? Do it.
I'll say, what are the dates for Chesterfest?
Yeah.
And then we'll bleep that. I'll bleep it out.
Hi, Aiden.
Is that Aiden?
That was Aiden.
Oh, tell him we got to see his beautiful
grease
face.
ball.
You want to meet him?
Yeah, we would love to.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey buddy, how
How's
you
it
doing?
going?
Well, I'm good. You got a little podcast going on here?
Yep.
Yep, we do, man. We do.
Music for your podcast?
Oh.
Oh.
This is what you want.
Oh.
Oh my god.
And then you just don't even know. Put the camera back to you. It's your interview. Don't look at me. Just back here.
You'll set the mood. Set the mood for us.
I don't know if you can hear that bass at all, but
I think it's cutting out
A little bit.
It's more for the ambiance anyway.
that's the one and only Garbage Man.
I love it.
Who are you guys?
We are, well, this is Mark
I'm Mark.
on my right, and I'm
that's Joel.
Joel. And we're we are the Sit Down Podcast. So every week we have a musician, a musical guest come on, and we just basically hang out and shoot the shit with them, find out what they're doing. And as I was telling Paris, all the credit to our show, hands down, goes to her. We've been doing the show for about 2 years now. We started it pre-COVID. She was the first guest we had on. And because of her, we've evolved the show into what it is today. So if it hadn't been for her, we wouldn't be where we are.
And we're organizing a music festival.
Yeah,
all because
of the podcast that she kind of helped kickstart.
Well, yes, influence is good, inspiration, but don't forget to give yourself a pat on the back. You also made it happen.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I thank you for those very kind words. For sure. I mean,
it's true. Paris didn't make your festival. Paris didn't make your podcast.
No.
She maybe made you want to do it, but y'all the one who did it.
There we go. That's classic Aiden lifting you up and forgetting not to give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
That's perfect. When are you coming on the show?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys will have to do just an episode just with Aiden and talk all things Garbage Man for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Anything.
I was also in a band called Soda Pony for a long time. You may have heard of
Soda Pony?
Soda Pony.
Yeah.
But that's a thing of the past now. I play in a band called Garbage Man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But Aiden's about to rock the dinner mission for me, actually, since I'm in the middle of podcasting with you guys. He's on Operation Make Mommy Dinner. So.
Nice to see you guys. Have a good night.
It's a pleasure, Aiden.
All right.
Bon appetit.
So since like the pandemic, and since releasing my album in June, like I've been like writing lots of songs, and I think I have like 15 songs in the bag since that last record. So I'm just hoping to like get my shit together and record another album, and don't really know where I'm gonna record it yet. Like it's definitely a dream of mine to record not in Whitehorse, because it just feel good to like get out of town and go try that somewhere else. I've never done that before.
I might know somebody who's very talented in Saskatoon that would maybe be interested in working with you. I can kind of connect the two of you.
I like that her dream is to record not in Whitehorse.
Well, I mean, I get it. If that's all you're doing all the time, like you want to broaden that out. Right?
But it's usually, I want to record in Nashville, or I want to record in New York or whatever. But hers is not Whitehorse.
So
yeah.
Here's the thing with that though. People who say that, like I get it, but then not to be devil's advocate or anything, but like, what is there recording in Nashville that there isn't out here?
So usually artists go for a specific studio because of the sound. So if your vibe is Beatles, you want to go to Abbey Road in London.
Okay, but here's the thing though, is it's just sound. Can't you just make that anywhere?
No, because it's the like depending on the producer and who is working on your project, like they might be more privy to making things sound more like the music they listen to. Like not always, but like I know in Whitehorse, like we kind of have like we have more than 3 main studios, but like each person definitely has like their kind of vibe, their zone. So like, you just like, for me also, I'm like, I don't even know where to go in town because I'm like doing soul pop music, but I also want it to be like kind of modern. And it's just like, okay, like this is a different vibe, I think, than maybe anything I can get in town, but not necessarily. Like, I think maybe I could try a little harder and like see if there's someone who wants to try and like push themselves while I adapt. Like, I don't know. It is a weird thing though, for sure.
It's also, it has everything to do with the vibe in the studio. Like if you look at Skull Creek, that has a very mellow, laid back, relaxed vibe. But then there are other studios that are, they're there to work, and they're there to produce an album. No bullshit. There's a comfy couch maybe, but it's more of a structured, like, you get 5 hours, you get 5 hours. If it's done, it's done. Otherwise, you pay extra. It's I think it's a whole. You watch Sonic Highways.
Yeah.
You've seen how different each studio is.
Right, but I mean, the sound was still Foo Fighters sound.
Yes.
Coming out of all those different studios.
Yeah, but if you check out the song that they recorded in New Orleans, for example, they had a whole band, like what's the
Orchestra?
Yeah, it's not an orchestra. It's like that shit. There's a word for it. The music that comes out of New Orleans. What is that?
You're asking the wrong person.
Anyway, so they have a whole bunch of musicians around in those rooms, and you can tell on the record that it sounds different sound-wise than the one they did in New York, for example.
Right, but that's because of the song that Dave wrote in that city.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah. Anyways,
the vibe itself is different.
Right. But yes. No, I definitely I know some class act people in Saskatoon. I'm sure that would work with you. I'm not saying that they would, but I could like send you some contact information there too, and you can like feel it out for yourself, kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I definitely have a list of places, across Canada that I want to check out. And I guess you're always just taking a gamble, especially when you don't know people. You're like, oh, I hope that's the right vibe. I hope I'm making the right choice.
That's exactly it, right? For sure. That's what I mean. Like, feel it out, because maybe it's not a fit. Who knows?
Yep.
But
do you have a Lego person on your arm?
Yeah, it's my little brother as a Lego man. I don't know if you can see him too good. He's upside down now. But that's what my little brother wore to my grad ceremony in 2012. And I was like, man, and we always played Lego together. And I thought that was like the classiest he's ever looked. So I was like, I'm going to get that as a tattoo.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
Yeah.
And what's on your shirt? Banana brain.
Yeah. Another t-shirt from the dump. Here we have a big like dump free store culture. So like we have like each town kind of throughout like the Yukon Territory typically has like a waste facility, and like not in the way that it's like gross, but like a transfer station where like not only can you like take your garbage, which is like your actual garbage, but they have like recycling and drop-off areas for like old broken fridges or furniture, or free stores that hold like kitchen supplies and kids clothes and like clothes for adults and all other kinds of stuff. And it's like all organized and like hung up usually. And so like here, like people just don't buy stuff new. We just go to the free store and get like everything you need. It's like, need a waffle maker? Like wait 3 months and you'll get one from the free store that probably like a person used once.
That's awesome.
That's great. I love it. And it's free?
Yep. All free.
Holy shit.
Well, it's either going in the dump or to someone who wants it.
I know the city, I know like, it's kind of like the equivalent of thrifting in the city. Like people are like, oh my God, like I got this secondhand at a, Value Village or something. Yeah. Salvation Army. Like here it's even better because it's free.
Yeah. Eat
it.
that city, people.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so do I. I was just thinking, there's my clip.
Yeah.
Here it's even better because it's free.
Yeah.
That's the title of the episode.
Yeah. It's free.
It's better in Whitehorse because it's
free. Maybe.
Yeah. Let's think about that.
Hell yeah.
Have you been hitchhiking lately?
No hitchhiking. I got a new van, so no need.
Oh, you're driving.
What are you driving?
Oh.
A 1999 Astro van.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's super creepy looking. It has like no windows. It's like an old painter's van, and I got it for $600. Aiden hooked it up, and it's awesome. I really want to paint it like cow print because it's like a white van, and I really want to put like black washes on it.
Yeah,
do it. Oh yeah, do it.
Yeah. And then with your name in pink on the side.
I feel like I don't need my name if it's covered in cow print.
What's actually, that made me think of what was the Paris pickles or whatever the hell that was.
Oh yeah. So for my album release, I was trying to think of like fun merch I could sell. And a few years ago, when Breakout West was in town, which was 2019, I think, I made like Paris Pick kettle corn, and it was called Paris Pick Mix. And it was like everyone at Breakout West loved it because like I literally brought in all this kettle corn, and people were like had that like midday hanger going on. So, like a lot of people got their like sugar that they needed from my weird popcorn mix that I got like a local kettle corn maker to make. And then I was like, okay, like maybe instead of popcorn, like what else could I do? And I think like one of my friends was like, Paris pickles, like they just said it. And I was like, oh my God, that's right. And I forgot that a few years ago, I played like a kids festival, like some children's fest. And my band name is Paris Pick and the Pricks. And they had hired my band, but they were like, yeah, like we can't really use your band name because it's a little like inappropriate maybe for this kids festival. And I was like, oh well, I'll like come up with a different name for my act then. And I think I told them to just call me Paris Pickle and the Tickles. And they like advertised me as that. And then yeah, so like years later when my friend was like, oh, like Paris Pickle, and I was like, oh my God, that's right, like I forgot about that. And then my friend Jess, like she's really good at pickling, and she like pickles all the time. She makes jams and jellies. And I was like, I've never made a pickle before. Like, how about like, could you help me make like 200 jars of pickles for my album release? Because I'm, you know, hoping to see that many people over the weekend. And she's like, okay. And I spent like $900 on like pickle supplies, which was crazy. And then I think we sold all the jars, which was awesome. And I called them Paris pickles, and I got like these little labels made. But I also, to like make it more Paris style, like I love the color pink. So we dyed the brine with beet juice. So we had to like beets overnight to get like a really pink looking brine. And then also later on in like Paris Pickle 2.0, like the second batch we did, I was like, can you put edible like glitter like into pickles? Like, is that crazy? And then we tried it and made these epic glitter pickles. And I was like, oh my God, I've done it. Like, I need to patent this like right now. Cause I went on Google and like could not find sparkle pickles anywhere. Like, I think I'm the one who's done that. So anyways, I need to patent my sparkle pickles ASAP because it's a really fun idea. And it's like, looks like a lava lamp when you shake the jar in the light, and it's edible. It's crazy.
Oh, shit. You don't have any of it kicking around there, do you?
No, I sold all the jars that I had left recently, like my last batch. I was doing what was it, last month? I think there was like, I can't remember what day, but it was International Pickle Day. And
yeah, it was like about a month ago or something.
Yeah, a month ago, and my friend texted me. It was like, happy pickle day. And I was like, well, this would be stupid, like if I didn't cash in on this. So I like woke up that morning and made a post like, hey everyone, like I'm delivering the rest of my pickles throughout town today. If you text me, and like I'll bring them to your... Yeah. So yeah. I sold all my pickles on pickle day. So I'm due for making another batch here.
That's freaking genius. So what the hell kind of sparkles are edible?
There's just edible sparkle glitter that you can get for like champagne and parties or for baking. So I usually use the champagne variety.
Oh my God.
I love the creativity of everything you do.
I do too. It's genius. You're a freaking genius.
I'm pretty that like I love marketing. When I was like younger in school, I remember being like, oh man, like marketing would be a fun job to get into, but obviously didn't pursue that, pursued other artistic avenues, but definitely I still like to like pretend like, I'm like, oh man, like what are my next one is I really want to make like, cause I love earrings. I really want to make like big chunky, like Paris Pick earrings, but it's like 2 P's. So it's like Paris Pick, and they're like big dongly peas.
And would they be pink?
Yeah, probably. And sparkle, probably.
Oh, I love it
Yeah.
so much. I want a pair of those earrings.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of picks, we're not talking about picks, but I just there is a company that makes guitar picks out of wood. You're nodding as if you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I've
So
definitely
are there Paris picks?
No, not yet. I've had lots of friends tell me to do that, but I don't really I don't know. Like I just haven't gone there yet for some reason. I think
Okay.
I think it's because like lots of guitar players are pretty picky about like what kind of size pick they use. And the last thing I'd want to do is like buy all this like these picks and then like it's like not the right size, I don't know, for actual like use or something. Like it's
Right.
kind of like it could be like it's like a good merch item in theory, but like a shitty merch item in practicality.
So a friend of the show, Matt Blaze, he had a bunch of those made, and my
Yeah.
wife got some, and she just drilled a hole in it and made them into earrings.
Yeah.
So that might be a.
Yep.
Hmm.
I did order vinyls for my first time, which I'm super excited. So vinyls of my last record, Hope for the Best.
Okay.
Hoping to get a proof of one of those sometime in the new year here.
Yeah,
yeah.
because everything is super backed up right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
but that's
like a test pressing, you mean?
yeah, test pressing.
Where do you have them pressed?
I'm going through a company based out of BC called Clampdown.
Clampdown. Yep.
Yeah,
That's where Alien to the Ignorant has
theirs.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of Canadian artists have been rocking Clampdown, and I think they were overwhelmed with how many people all of a sudden were going their way for records. But I think it's awesome. Like we're like, oh, support these guys, like they're new, and then all of a sudden, like now they just have like thousands of orders. Like I bet they're totally overwhelmed. But I was glad to be able to spend my money in Canada, and yeah, I'm excited to get my test pressing because I definitely noticed the last time I toured across Canada. There was definitely people asking for vinyls, and I was like, oh, like here in Whitehorse, we're kind of 90s with it. Like people love CDs.
Mhm.
And there is people that love vinyl here, but like there's something about a CD that just hasn't aged here. Like you will sell your CDs in Whitehorse because lots of people driving around and listening to tunes. But I definitely thought like I've always wanted a vinyl, and they're so rad.
Yep.
Oh hell yeah.
Is it going to be colored or black?
Or pink?
Oh yeah, it'll be like a hot pink and orange yellow transparent swirl.
Oh wow,
sweet. Chalk me up for one. I'm getting one for sure. I want one. 100%.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
I guess, man. So Joel answered, and then I asked him if I could talk about it on the podcast. I didn't get an answer on that yet, but he said it's in July, and he says weekends 8 to 10, I think.
All right.
He must mean the date is the
8th to 10th of July.
9th and 10th of July, I think is what he means.
3 days.
And then he said Ness and Craven are the following weekend. So he's avoiding that.
There you go.
So we're a month after that.
Yep.
There you go. Cool.
So that means you got to come stay in Bellevue for a month.
Yeah. Exactly. Just play some gigs around town.
Hell yeah. Freaking rights. Well, you can do Chesterfest and then go do Ness Creek and then go do Craven and then come do Moose Fest.
That'd be crazy.
No doubt.
And I'm sure there's a festival in Saskatoon around that time too.
There'd be something.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, that's amazing. Frick, I wish you were closer. I really do.
Yeah, no, Yukon's pretty far away.
I've never been there. Have you ever been there?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite the adventure. It's you'll have to come for Grease Fest sometime.
Those 15 songs that you've got ready to record, Are they
Mhm.
ready to record, or are they still need a lot of work?
I think they're close to ready. I mean, they're ready as like I might get them as an individual. I think that'll change. So typically like I'll have my songs and then I'll like maybe show them to my band. And then once my band starts learning them, then there's like, an open floor for suggestions
Right.
as to should this song change anymore, or what do I'll usually ask the players. But I'm also thinking about doing like a bit of a different approach on this next album, or maybe like I play more of the instruments myself. So rather than playing and doing bed tracks with like a drummer and a bass player, it's like I might play my song to a click track on guitar and then just kind of like build on top of it, which is something I haven't really done before. It's like usually like I bring my band in and then it's just the way it is. But I kind of want to experiment a little bit more with some of these new songs and maybe like play more keys and bass myself, because I am a bass player mainly. So I'm like, why not keep the cost down and just play more instruments by myself. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think they're sounding pretty good though. Usually the test for me to get them as far as I can is I'll like record myself on my phone playing my songs, and then I'll like listen to them on my stereo and just like do some chores while I like take in the tunes and be like, okay, like how does this sound? Does it sound done? Does it sound rushed, lazy?
Yeah. Hell yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have, I guess, one kind of final question, I guess, for you.
Okay.
Is if we could have your permission to end this episode with a song of yours.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Is there anyone in particular that you would rather?
No, like you can choose your favorite song. I don't mind at all.
Cool.
I kind of want to end with your video.
Oh yeah.
Surprise.
Right?
Bring it back. Slow fight.
Right on. Okay. Then, like I told you before, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. I am not just blowing smoke up your ass. I legitimately owe you everything. Like for where we are. I credit you all like for it.
Yep.
I
agree.
I normally say welcome to the family, but you are and always will be part of the family. So I don't need to say that. But any final questions?
No, this was fun. Again.
Awesome. It was super fun. Love hanging out with you guys.
Right on, Paris.
Cool.
We appreciate the shit out of you. You're welcome here anytime you want to.
Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya.
Okay, bye everybody at home.
I just wanna have fun with you all the time. I can't help it. I can't help it. And I just wanna make love to you because you're mine. I can't help it. I can't help it. Every time I'm with you, I think of all the things that we could time.